Hello! In today's video I'm going to show you how to put together this pop-up toolbox card. Now Father's Day is coming, but this card is great for any occasion and for anyone. You can find the design in CRICUT design space under pop-up cards, or you can search Father's Day cards and it's right there. We're going to cut this on the machine and then I'm going to show you how to put it together. This is the machine I was talking about. It's my CRICUT maker machine and it cuts numerous different things and materials, and today I'm going to be using the fine point blade in the B compartment. We go into design space on your computer or your iPad, whatever device you are designing on, and then find the particular file that you want to cut. And then these are the screens that should appear. Now you can actually choose what size cardstock you cut things out on. This automatically shows me on 12 by 12 cardstock, as you can see, but actually I like to adapt it and move things around, or I use smaller sheets of card as well. So as you can see here, I am converting this and moving pieces around. You can move the object and combine it onto another sheet. Just by rearranging them slightly, you can save yourself quite a bit of waste. And who likes waste? Craft supplies are expensive, so in order to save some craft supplies and cardstock, I like to combine these and move the mats around a little bit. This also works if you don't have a 12 by 12 sheet in the colour you need. For example, in this red, I could then switch it to a letter size and use 2 letter size sheets of card. Now in this one I did actually use cardstock for the black pieces on the tools, but in hindsight vinyl would have been amazing to use and super easy and already sticky. So in the next ones that I make of this I will use vinyl. Make sure you select the right type of cardstock when you are cutting and the right tools. Now it automatically selects a scoring wheel when it recommends that for you, but if you don't have a scoring wheel you can use the scoring stylus. I have the scoring wheel and the double scoring wheel, but it means you have to put them in the B side, and I don't like to switch it if I can get away with it. So the scoring stylus goes in the A side and then my blade is in the B side. So we just put that back into place. Now for everything you cut on the CRICUT maker, you are going to place it onto a mat. We have lots of different mats in different colours and different amounts of stickiness depending on what you need. They have a clear cover, don't throw that away, keep it. It keeps your mat nice and clean when you are not using it. Also, I have a roller. Now this is great for making sure that everything is stuck down properly, and it's going to stop the blade from pulling up that cardstock. Now I did use a textured cardstock for this one. I didn't put it on the right setting, so it didn't cut all the way through. So you want to make sure that you do a test cut before you start if you're using a specific piece of cardstock and you don't want to ruin it. I have a useful tip for you. Peel off the mat rather than the cardstock from the mat, and that way you won't damage it or rip it if it's too sticky. Here are all the pieces I have cut. Once you have those, you can begin to assemble. Take the card part and fold it in half down the score line. You can use a scraper tool to define this, or a bone folder, whatever you might have. And that's just going to make that line really, really defined on the outside card. That bit's really easy. Hopefully you're still with me on this part. I'm going to stick the details on the tools. Now if I had cut these out of vinyl, they would just be like sticking stickers on for the details, but I cut them in cardstock, so I did need to use my precision glue bottle here. It just has a precision tip. I use my regular glue and I decant it into this, and then I can use it on the tiny little detail projects that I do. The tweezers are assisting me here in getting less glue on my fingers and also making sure that the pieces are in the right spot. We're going to do this on one side and then repeat it on the other, and that goes for both bits of grey cardstock with the black details for the tools. So I put those to one side to dry, and then take the outside part of the toolbox, in this case mine was cut in the red textured cardstock, and fold it along each of the score lines. Now there are also slits at either end and tabs on the bottom and on the side. So the slits at either end are for the grey parts to go into, and they should go in relatively easily. If it's really flimsy, then you've used maybe too thin of a cardstock, and it might be tricky again if the cardstock is too thick. I use 65-pound cardstock, usually by Recollections, and I find it works great for most projects. Take the second grey piece and repeat the process, sliding it in slits at the front of the toolbox. It pops into both sides, and make sure the tabs are pulled all the way through. Add some glue to the side tab, and that's going to go on the inside of the long piece on the other end of that toolbox. Hold it until it's dry, and then fold out the base tabs underneath. Those are the bits that are going to connect to the card. This is the handle. Slide it into the top of the toolbox, and you don't need to glue it in place. It does need to be able to move. There we go. Before we attach it to the card, we're going to put the tabs through the slits in the white inserts, and then we're going to stick them down. This is for the mechanism part of the card, and you want to make sure you have the right tab in the right slot and on the right side of the card. I'm going to show you what I mean in just a sec, so do stick around, because you can still mess this up if you stick the wrong one in the wrong spot, and I'm going to make sure you don't do that. So make sure both those tabs are glued down, and then just to be safe, once they're dry, double check that it all folds flat in on itself. If it doesn't, it's likely that the slits are in the wrong place on the wrong side, the card's been put together the wrong way round. It's relatively easy to see because one slit is smaller than the other, one tab is smaller than the other, and you want the small tab on the back side of the front of the card, because if you have it the other way around, you will see the tab through the card. If this happens, it's not the end of the world, because you can always stick something over the front of it, like a greeting or a different kind of detail to cover that up. Mistakes are often fixed with crafts, and actually sometimes things work out better when you've made a mistake and you've had to adjust it slightly. But it is important not to put the glue or the double-sided tape on the back side of this. So I find if I go round the detail that's cut out, I'm not going to put it on the white bit and then have it show through and then have to deal with cleaning up the glue after the fact. So repeat the process on this side, making sure that it's stuck down. You can cover the whole of the back of this because there's nothing to show through. And you could use your tape gun as well. Because there is a ruler slit cut out of the insert of this, it's a bit tricky with the roller, which is why I used glue. Now, to quickly show you how to make the envelope, this is also included in the file, and as long as you remember to put your scoring tool in the system, this will be super easy. I use pattern paper for the envelopes because it is lightweight for mailing. It's super easy to put together. It's not going to add any extra weight or cost, and it's easy to fold as well. I use my scoring tool to define where my sticky tape is going, and this is my double-sided tape roller. I love this. It can be a little tricky to load, but I absolutely love using it for envelopes. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed today's card making. I hope you also managed to create a cool toolbox card. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, share, and I will see you happy folks on the next one. Thanks for watching.